So this story, with his 80-year-old grandmother dying in the back seat of, I believe it's her son or grandson's car. It might have been her son. I saw some of the video clip. He was an older gentleman. This is 2 months old. This is from April 1st, 2009. That just shows me there are so many of these incidents that they slip through the cracks. Everybody, oh, you're leaping on this, you're leaping on that. We can barely cover it. You know, we covered, I think over a month ago now, the 17-year-old girl whose father's having a seizure after he had a brain aneurysm, having a seizure. She calls 911 before she even gets on the air with anybody. She says a bad word. It's a naughty word to say the F word. Apparently the guy hears it. She doesn't even realize she's on the phone, and he hangs up on her. 3 separate times. 3 separate times. This girl's freaking out. He doesn't even ask her what's going on. She then runs to the police station, not realizing he's the one taking her calls, and she's arrested. And eventually an ambulance gets to the house, and they have no idea what's really going on. Unbelievable. Oh, and he acted okay. All right, let's play this clip from April 1st. This is off of a local CW affiliate. Here we go.
Turns deadly, but not because of violence. A Cordova man says his elderly mom died in the backseat of his truck while he was getting a traffic ticket.
Memphis has been talking about this one. The driver's name is Wayne Abels, and he tells Eyewitness News tonight he was driving his mother to the hospital when he was pulled over by a Shelby County Sheriff's deputy. The deputy did call for an ambulance, but Abels' mother couldn't wait that long. CW30 Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Holmes spoke with the woman's son and with Sheriff Mark Luttrell about this emotional case. Kevin, what do we know about the deputy who ticketed the driver, and has he been disciplined?
Well, Joyce, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office is not releasing the name of the deputy tonight, but we do know he's been with the department less than 3 years. As of right now, this is still an ongoing investigation, and no administrative charges have been filed against this deputy. But the main question investigators have to answer right now is, did the deputy use proper discretion? Wayne Abel says he was less than a mile away from St. Francis Hospital, which is on Germantown Parkway near Wolf Chase Galleria. That's where he was pulled over. He was pulled over because of expired tags. Abel says he asked the deputy to follow him to the hospital and write the ticket there, but the deputy declined. Now, his 83-year-old mother suffers from severe breathing problems, and Abel claims his mother died in the back of his truck. On top of that, Abel says the deputy showed no remorse.
Just by the time the ambulance got there, my mom, her head fell over, and her head was resting on her walking stick in her hand about the time the ambulance got there. And that's the hard part. That's the image I've got to live with the rest of my life, and the sound to hear my mom go through that and gasp, and to know that she could have been to the hospital maybe 10 minutes, maybe more than that earlier.
Situations like this require extreme good judgment, and it's very difficult to write a protocol for every judgmental type situation. So we'll take a look at it. If it's a training issue, then we'll just try to emphasize to our officers that there comes time when they've got to make some good judgment calls.
All right, let's pause. What do you mean? Well, what are you talking about? This is listen, you got an old woman in the back of the truck. She's dying. The guy says, please, just follow me to the hospital and write me the ticket there. There's no decisions to be made. The decision is, okay, I'll put my lights on, follow me. We'll get there quicker. You're a mile away. Even if they're doing 30 miles an hour, they're there in less than 2 minutes. Do you understand? And he's a police officer. They should have got there in less than 60 seconds. If he really has a hard-on for this guy for, expired tags or whatever, you can give him the ticket there. Give me a break. We are going to play some clips of some wins, some W's. Everybody's saying, oh, you don't offer any solutions. You guys are horror stories. You hype up everything. Listen, out in Albany, for instance, they were trying to make it so you had to register all ammunition. Forget about your firearms, ammunition. Well, the people there said no. They went down to their assembly meeting. They said this is outrageous, and they're protesting it. They are having an effect. On top of that, We Are Change New York, Manny Badillo. We haven't had Manny, I think, as a guest on this program. He's been a guest on my previous shows, and I think he's called into this program. Hopefully we're going to get him for tomorrow night. He'll be up with Luke Radowski, the founder of We Are Change. And Where do you see this clip? I mean, he puts the senator on the spot, and a senator in New York, but she agrees that there may need to be a new investigation into 9/11, kind of a softballer, but she's behind the she's behind the James Zadroga bill, which is for the first responders. I feel like I got marbles in my mouth or something tonight. I'm like, I don't know, lisping, and I'm off tonight. First 15 minutes, bad Bermas. Bad Bermas. None of that. All right, let's take some callers, and then we're going to play that clip, another one, and then we're actually going to play a clip. Even though the Wisconsin courts have said it's okay for police to, GPS your car without a warrant, without probable cause, track and trace you, the New York court said, no, you can't do that. You need a warrant. You need a warrant. Of course you need a warrant. Otherwise, you're stalking. But I'm glad to see that New York upheld that decision, at least at a local level. All right, let's go to Matt in California. Matt, you're on the air.
How you doing, Jason?
Good.
So there's the article. It's titled "Spy Chips Guiding CIA Drone Strikes."
Wow.
So what they're doing is they're paying. I mean, the U.S. military is paying guys, just people off the street in Afghanistan. One guy was given $122 to just drop chips in suspected militant homes. And it says here, you quote, "The money was good, so I started throwing the chips all over. I knew people were dying because of what I was doing, but I needed the money." So these guys are just paying, our military is paying, would-be maybe suspected militants to find other militants with chips, getting paid and throwing the chips all over town.
What's the data? What news agency is reporting this?
It's Wired. It was.
Wow.
I sometimes I look at Huffington Post just to see what's going on with that craziness, and I saw that, and I was actually surprised.
Now that's a top story. We need to get that out to Kurt Nemo and Paul Joseph Watson so they can do a story on that. Well, that just shows, why listen, they have to have a reason to be in the Middle East. There have to be insurgents. Remember, now there's a big Taliban and Al-Qaeda resurgence into Afghanistan. They just said they're going to send 17,000 more troops there. So they have to use the weapons that they're making billions and billions of dollars for. What better way to have a proxy device? In other words, the CIA says there's militants everywhere, so they find some low-level, dirtbag that's willing to take these chips and just throw them everywhere and say there's militants everywhere, and that's the CIA's intelligence. See, there's so many militants, this guy can't keep enough chips. Meanwhile, he's throwing them into the homes of families, women, children, people that work probably 2 to 3 times as hard as anybody in this country, at least, physical labor-wise. And that's okay, because they're brown, and they're making us a lot of money, and it's all for a Eurasian Union. So no big deal. This is a disgusting display of what this government, and really just our morality as a people, are capable of. This story should be headlined all across the media. This is out of today, huh? Well, if they don't pick it up tomorrow, if it's not on MSNBC all over the place, if it's not on CNN, if it's not on Fox News, it is a disgrace, and it won't be. We'll be lucky if we get a handful of reporters to even talk about it. Lou Dobbs will probably discuss it. I hope he does so at length. Great caller. Thank you so much, Kevin. Or Matt, I'm sorry. Let's go to Josh in California. Josh, online.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Before I make my remarks, I'd like to make a preface. I don't always agree with everything you and Alex say, but I do agree with a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And I think you guys are doing the right thing. And I'm glad that I was sitting in front of the computer and heard this thing about this deputy. I'm a former MP, military police. Mm-hmm. Okay, when I was trained to do traffic stops, I was told that when you pull somebody over, you identify yourself. So if it's you, you're the MP, you would say, "I'm Sergeant Bermas with such and such a post, military police. The reason why I stopped you is because you were doing whatever, and is there a reason why you're doing this?" Now, if there's a medical emergency, you provide an escort. You ask if there's a reason why, because people will get scared, and they'll sit there and they'll flip out, and somebody next to them could be having a baby, dying, or have some other sort of medical problem. And they won't say anything a lot of the time because they're intimidated. And you should make them comfortable so that they can say, "Look, yes, I'm having a medical problem. I need an escort." You're there to provide that service. And this guy is a disgrace. And I don't know who that guy was who was saying that this is a training. That was nonsense. Mm-hmm. I mean, I completely...
No, that was his supervisor basically saying that, no, the deputy had a lot of things to think about. We just don't have protocol for this. And, we'll look into it, but really,